Seasons come and seasons go. As a fly fisherman who fishes all the seasons, fall in particular is probably the most beautiful. The colors are changing, the days are getting shorter, the mornings and nights are getting colder, and the changeover from summer is complete. That's certainly what I found on the North Fork of the Payette River. Here, the fall fishing is nearing its end. Daylight hours are shorter, the water's getting colder, and the fish themselves seem to be actively eating more, knowing that within another week or two, the river will be freezing, frigid Arctic cold. Here, the rocks I'm standing on will be covered in ice and dangerous. So I've made my journey to the North Fork for one last hurrah.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mike at Northwest School of Fly Fishing, the old fish hobo. And the last couple of days I've been in a canyon up in the mountains fly fishing. And while there, I was kind of reminiscing about some of the questions I often get asked. And one in particular rang true on that river is, hey Mike, what's your favorite river to fish? And again, what's your favorite season to fish? Well, I can tell you that the river I'm on is my favorite river. I don't have a river 1, 2, 3, my favorite, or flies for those rivers. Whatever river I'm on is the river I like to be at and is my favorite river at that time. And I try to hit as many rivers I can every year. I think I'm up to around 34 this year. And the season, spring, summer, fall, winter, what's your favorite season, Mike? Again, the answer is the same. Whatever season I'm in, I like all the seasons, and I fish differently in each season. The insects are different in each season, but I'm in the fall season right now, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. But I can tell you, I started fishing the North Fork of the Payette River a couple weeks ago. And I was fishing that river in a canyon in shorts and sandals, short sleeve shirts, and with the sun out, and the fishing was really good. North Fork Payette, you get 3 to 4 weeks a year on that river when they turn the water off. That water is designed for irrigation and salmon recovery on the clear water. So that river is kept artificially high most of the summer. And the fly that I use on that river, the fly that I use and have used for many years, is Pat's rubber leg, a black Pat's rubber leg. Excuse me. And really why I'm using that Pat's rubber leg, probably a size 8, is because I've learned over the years, for some reason, that's just what the trout prefer. And I know that river is a stonefly river. I know there's a number of variety of stoneflies in that river, but I didn't know that in the beginning. So I was on that river, I don't know, years ago. And I was on that river on a fluke, meaning that for some reason the wizard behind the curtain that lives in that dam, that's a tailwater, decided in the middle of spring, I'm going to turn the water off. Usually they're working on the turbines or something, and they turned the water off. Well, I watch the flows on all our rivers here in Idaho and Oregon daily, and I noticed that river had been turned down to about 400 cubic feet. And that's kind of a freak of nature. So what a great opportunity. Instead of 2,000, 2,200 cubic feet roaring through that canyon, I'm going to get down there and I'll be the only one there. And I'm going to get down that canyon and I'm going to catch some fish. And I went down that canyon and I put on my normal nymphs and I started fishing and nothing. Half an hour later goes by, not even a pull or a tug or anything. And then all of a sudden, there on my shoulder was a large black stonefly. And I picked it up and I looked at it and I smiled. I go, okay, I got this. And I tied on a Pat's rubber leg, and I'll show one for you. And my first cast, I was on a fish. And I caught all my fish that day on a Pat's rubber leg. And I've caught all my fish, all my trout in that river from that day on with a Pat's rubber leg. Now I've tried every kind of nymph that you can imagine as my second fly. I've even tried again nymphing with regular nymphs with no success. I put that black rubber leg on, and it doesn't matter, a San Juan worm, a pheasant tail, any kind of Euro thing you want to put on there. I've tried it all. Hare's ears. I've gone to specific patterns that look like a nymph. I've tried it all, and they only want that black rubber leg. But here's the thing that's going to help you if you decide to fish this river, because this river, the North Fork Payette, is on Highway 55, and Highway 55 is the busiest two-lane highway in Idaho. I mean, it's a large north-south highway, and you're following this river. So thousands and thousands of people a day are on this highway driving by this river, and no one's fishing it. Even when you can fish it, there's very few people up there, if any. Of the 6 times I fished it this fall, I've only seen one fly fisherman on it, period. So it's a major river, and it's certainly 45 minutes from my house, and I live in the middle of West Boise. And it's an incredible fishery. I'm catching 15-inch to 22-inch trout. The average fish I've caught this year, the smallest fish I've caught this year is probably 12 inches. It's just not fished. But the key thing that comes from the stonefly thing is that when trout feed, they're feeding on one of 4 insects. They're feeding on either mayflies, caddisflies, midges, or stoneflies in their winged or larval state. And of the 4, only the stonefly has trouble underwater. Number one, they don't hatch normally like most aquatic insects. They crawl out of the river. So what you have is hundreds, if not thousands, of these aquatic insects crawling out of the river, and some are bound to lose footing with the river bottom, and they get caught in the current. Well, stoneflies either can't swim or are poor swimmers, and they end up just tumbling down the river. And they become a moving food source on the conveyor belt of the river. Trout just stay right here, and hopefully something will come down the river and they'll eat it. And then here comes this tumbling stonefly, and they eat it. So trout, in general, trout have very little or no cognitive thought. They can't think. They have brains, tiny brains, half size of pea or a small pea. And what we know that they can do, they can't do at the same time with something else. So, for example, they can't spawn and feed. They can only do one thing at a time. So they're not very bright. However, what science does tell us, they do have the ability to learn. And that's the key. They do have the ability to learn. And i.e. Pavlov's dogs. And they can learn. And what they've learned is this can be a big chunk of food, a huge food source. So it's no surprise that I'm using a black rubber leg in that river. It's not a fluke. It is a fluke in the sense that, oh, geez, look at that. But I also understand the situation there. I didn't know that was a stonefly river. I certainly do now, a decade or so later. Now, though, when I fast forward to today, instead of wearing shorts and sandals and short sleeve shirts, I'm dressed for winter. I got 4 layers on. It's 29 degrees is the morning temperatures there, and it's going to warm to the low 40s or early 50s. on a good day. And it's just going to get colder there. And I'm just a couple days out from the time change here. We go to daylight savings time. And what happens in that river, that's a north-south river, and the sun runs east-west. So it gets very little sunshine now. Well, it'll get hardly any sunshine in there. And what that means is that canyon is going to be like a freezer. Water temperatures are going to go down. And when water temperatures go down, so does the trout's metabolism. They stop feeding as much, and the fishing's much slower there. And what the river's telling me, it's time for you to move on, Mike. Yeah, the river said it's fall. It's over. The water temperatures are down. It's going to be freezing there and dangerous. So those rocks get wet, and they freeze overnight, and next thing you know, you're going whoop, bam, just like that. So, and essentially, it's for me, the North Fork of the Payette's over. Fall fishing is at this moment is my favorite season. The North Fork Payette River at that moment was my favorite river, and it's now time for me. I've been officially kicked out of the mountains, and it's now time for me to find some rivers here in the lowlands, and I'll be fishing those in the wintertime. And when they freeze over or get too cold, well, you'll find me out in the desert. So hopefully this helps you a little bit, and hopefully down the road, I'll see you on a river.